All right, welcome tonight to the Wednesday specials for our coffee brew. And I totally said that in the wrong word order. I am sick, so forgive me for misspeaking. I can't keep any thoughts straight in my brain. We're joined tonight by two of the floor judges who helped make the cookout an amazing event. Both Addie and Charles, or Bidoof, or C4, or Bulba, Soar, and I'll let them each introduce themselves. Addie, if you want to go first.
My name is Addie. I am an L1 from New York. I have been judging for just over 4 years. I believe a week ago from tomorrow, like a week prior from tomorrow, was my 4 year anniversary of being a judge. So,
Oh, wow. Awesome. Well, congratulations on your judge anniversary. I can't
thank
even
you.
fathom remembering when I certified. But anyway, Charles, C4.
Hi, I'm Charles, or C4 on the internet. I've been judging since 2016-ish. I acquired my L2 last year, and I've been working with Eminence for a lot of these big events.
All right, awesome. I'm pretty sure everybody who's been to an event has at some point in time seen you in your Bidoof hat. Um, I really appreciate that has become a staple, and people just recognize you for it. It makes me happy. Birthday gift, well given. All right, why don't we go over general recap? How did you both think this event went? Did you have fun this weekend? Did you hate it? What do we need to change, fix? Nothing at all. We're perfect. I know. Thank you.
Addie, you
Uh,
want to take the lead?
Oh, it was definitely eventful. It was an adventure. I was on deck checks, so um, I saw a lot of interesting things with deck checks. It was we. I know that some people didn't properly understand the proxy rules on the Eminence website, so deaf people should definitely make sure to reach out and check what proxies are good. We don't want to let paper in front of cards
right.
because that's an issue. We had to give 3 game losses because of deck issues or proxy issues. Um, that was not fun
Right
because
now,
that's not a nice, not a fun thing to do. But
for people who've never been to a large event before, or have never had this happen to them, can you explain what a deck check is and what your job was essentially this weekend with that?
we randomly select a table, and basically as soon as you present your deck, we will usually approach you and say you've been randomly selected for a deck check. We'll have you put your decks back in the box, and then we will take your name, make sure we give everyone the right deck box back. Obviously, we don't want to mess that up. And then we bring everything to the judge room and just make sure everything matches your Mox Field list, or the proxies are good, that the sleeves are good. If someone did have some miscut sleeves, so we had to help them re-sleeve that deck. That was a fun time. But
Yeah. All right. And Charles, what was your role this weekend?
So my role was appeals judge, which the long and short of appeals judge would be to be the head judge when the head judge is otherwise occupied. So I had the fun experience of coming up to a table delivering a ruling, and when they said I would like to appeal, you say no, I am the appeals judge, and that's mostly because the head judge is busy taking care of other parts of the event. So that was a new experience for me, that I can go into a bit about trying to figure out how that role is, because oftentimes, at least from my perception, when I thought of appeals judge, I thought there was like a lot of extra responsibilities. It's like, oh yeah, you're the head judge when they're not around. It's like, okay, that means that feels like a ton of things, but um, when you have a team like we had in the cookout, you have such a good support system that a lot of things are handled that you thought you had to handle, and all of a sudden you have a self expectation for more than not more than you actually have to do, in the sense that you don't do a lot, but was a different experience than being a floor judge with a dedicated responsibility.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's very different being told what to do essentially versus you having to figure out what to tell everybody else to do, even though that's like your secondary responsibility because head judge should be doing that. Um, it's almost like your head judge too, or the same role, only slightly less responsibility.
Yeah, so the head judge will tell everyone what to do. I felt like it was part of my job to ensure when I could that one, people were doing what they had been told to do, and that they, if they're struggling in any way, to assist.
Yeah, absolutely, that makes sense. So, what were your favorite parts of this weekend?
I was trusted to run the redemption event the second day, which was terrifying but fun. um, it was my largest event I've ever had judged. So, with 53 people signed up and kind of getting to show that I know what I'm doing, but definitely still need to work on the confidence part of it.
Sure.
And then being able to show everyone that I can like put on my big girl voice as I was told. So um that was definitely an experience. Um
Yeah, I know it's scary commanding your first room for sure because you never know how it's going to go, and uh, players have to listen to you, and kind of scary when you're talking and trying to scream over 60 idiots,
mhm,
Magic players who
mhm,
essentially just want to play Magic and don't really care what you have to say.
mhm.
Um, what was your biggest challenge of taking that event over outside of having to make sure that you threw your voice across that room?
um I did have floor judge support, but then at times they had to get pulled away to help with the top 16. So
Mhm.
being able to try to manage like when I needed another judge to help me
Mhm.
instead of just trying to do everything by myself, which wasn't what I tried to do, but I at one point I think asked for assistance a little bit too late. When I was asked to watch a turn, then had to take a call, then had to go back to that table and missed a couple of things that had happened, and had to get a floor judge to watch that game that the players wanted watched for missed triggers and things along that line.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely time management when you're one person managing 60 players is a little rough.
Mhm.
That's why we definitely try to get more than one judge on an event like that.
Yeah.
But I know Sunday was a little thin,
Mhm.
especially with me not being able to be there, and my flight got canceled
Mhm.
and told I could reschedule for 2 days later to miss the entire event. Okay. And Charles, what was some things you enjoyed about this weekend?
I think one of my favorite things about this weekend was watching other judges in action, and people I've never worked with before. And I've worked with Addie before, of course, and I've worked with Baldy before. But from a judge perspective, it was very interesting to see and experience the difference of having Baldy head judge versus Max head judge. They're very similar, but they have differences about how the room gets divided or how tasks are divided. That um, while both run successful, amazing events, had just an interesting, just different appeal to them. Another thing along the same lines would be the difference of the folks in the room, the players themselves. Since we were much farther away from New York and New Jersey,
Mhm.
half the Rip and Ship crew wasn't there, right? So um, having many different players, recognizing some folks and some content creators, but for a large part, these are different people. I was also excited to meet some folks that I've only known or seen or heard of through the Mox Masters online events. So seeing these people in person was also really cool.
Billy, do you have any questions for our guests or anything you want to add to our conversations here?
Yeah. So I'm excited to work with you guys directly. I mean, I've known you guys, hung out with you guys multiple times. But I believe all 3 of you will be working with me at Festival, right?
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, no, maybe?
Yep.
Yeah, because Max, you're head judging, right?
No.
No.
No?
I am set, as far as I'm aware right now, to TO the event.
Oh.
So I'll be running logistics and whatnot, unless Mikey comes and takes it from me, which could happen if he feels like showing up to the event. Otherwise, I believe it'll be the prettiest judge in Magic, Mr. Seth Arar, will be head judging.
Very cool. So, yeah, no, that's awesome. So, one of the things, so, like, I mean, I've done other events. I mean, Charles got to help me out at the last event at my store. What do you, like, what's the most high pressure that you guys have ever been on? Like, Addie, you mentioned how before it was your first major event that you've done by yourself kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's obviously pretty stressful. Like,
Mhm.
what about other, any other options or any other times that it's extremely stressful?
I don't know if I can pick a specific like instance. I've had a lot of instances of like as both a player and a judge because I'm a girl. I kind of not get targeted, but it's not as enjoyable for me. As a player, I have been called names that I will not say on stream. One starts with a B, the other one starts with a C, so you can fill in the blanks. And that was like pre-COVID, right before the world shut down. So that kind of sticks with you as a player, and then trying to make it in judging and being taken seriously. Like, and I don't speak for all females, obviously, but it kind of, I guess, contributes a little bit to that confidence thing of making sure people take you seriously. Not necessarily because of gender, just also just everything. I don't know.
So basically what you're getting at is there's still like this, I don't really say stigma, but it's basically not harboring an inclusive environment when it comes down to it. There's still like, oh, I still know more than you. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure that it's, what's the word I want to look? I'm trying to say. I had a rough day today too, so my brain is not functioning. I'm using an old webcam right now, and I'm like, I hate how close it is to me, but that's besides the point. But it's not conducive to people to bring people in. Like, we as a community want to harbor a safe and fun and for the love of the game. I mean, that's literally why EDH was created, why Commander was created, why Magic was created. It was meant for fun. And by, profiling, pushing people away, making them feel uncomfortable, like, those are kind of the things that, like, it just doesn't make it fun for any party involved. You know what I mean? Like, and, like, hearing that, like, it makes me really think about, like, oh, are they gonna listen to me? It's the whole, I call it the manager problem, kind of, except not in a, in a sense. Like, I can say the same thing over and over again, but because my title does not have manager on it, they're not gonna listen to me. I get my manager, they tell me the exact same thing. They're like, yo, you're absolutely correct. You know what I mean? And it's a shame that did happen to you, and I do apologize for that. I know it wasn't me, but still, like, it sucks. It makes me feel terrible as a human,
Yeah, like Atlanta was a whole nother beast. I dealt with like situations that I've never had to deal with.
Okay.
I had during my event, I had a obviously 4-person pod. 4th person didn't show up, and I told the players they could proceed with just the 3 of them, and I was basically quoted eminence policy that they could not play in a pod of 3, and I was like, you were seated in a pot of 4. You like play on. That's it. And they went back at me, and then they went to Baldy after I'd already gone to Baldy and asked him, confirmed that I didn't have to wait the 10 minutes for the 4th person to show up. So they were just trying to bully me into a win. So that was definitely a different experience than I've ever had to deal with. And
yeah,
just like a player being a little overly friendly and having to get like in a different situation, trying to get like when I'm judging, I'm working. Like
right.
so
It's
just
not a time you
like
want to be socializing and
yeah.
any type of information like that. It's
Mhm.
not where you want to be, I'm sure.
Mhm. And I don't think they meant anything malicious. I really don't. But it was like towing the line.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
that-
like you're at work, you don't want to deal with people
Mhm.
being like overly friendly, and like it's one thing to have conversation. Yes, we're all there.
Mhm.
We're all there to talk about magic, and
Mhm.
but at some point it's like you're there to play and you're there to run the event. So
What were you saying, Charles?
I was saying like it's really unfortunate because that type of situation occurs in general because it's always on the like if it's not on the forefront, it's still in the back of your mind when you're interacting with different players. Like Addie had told me early on dealing with or meeting this one person, they were asking her questions and things, and it seemed like okay. And then the next morning, I spoke to this person, and they asked me where Addie and I had went for breakfast, and if we were staying at the hotel. And those can be honest questions because they went on to talk about the food at the hotel and how it was actually pretty good. But when perceived in such a way, you can think in the back of your mind, is this person trying to discover the location of where we will be tomorrow morning?
Mhm.
Which raises a couple flags, but you don't know because you don't want to wrongfully tell someone that they're doing this behavior, but you also don't want it to find out the hard way of any of that. So it makes it a very challenging thing. So for all players, always remember, it's in Magic, we have intent for a lot of rules and to discover cheating. For social cues, intent only gets you so far. You have to be really aware of how you can be perceived, and just do your best to create that safe environment.
yeah, I think that kind of thing boils down to for everybody, for women in the space, for female presenting or non-binary, anything to that effect. It's like we have to consider other people's feelings with that, and I have thought and completely trailed off.
And sometimes it comes across in the way you don't intend it to.
Right.
And it's definitely also important that when it gets brought to your attention, not to take it don't take it personally, but hear it. Like if you weren't intending that and you just, I can see how it could be taken wrong. It's not against you. It's just, be wary of it. Be careful of it.
Yeah, for sure. To switch to some lighter subjects, just to have some fun.
Listen, we're gonna keep on the depression train. No, I'm kidding.
No.
Oh, can I talk about a difficult thing? I had a difficult thing that's not
I also
nearly
have
as
a good
difficult.
question as well. So, good.
I think this comes down to specific judge call where an opponent had ad nauseed and then they demonic consultation afterwards, and then they took their exile pile from the demonic consultation and put it face down on top of their hand, realized what they had done, tried to grab the brick of cards, put it back in their exile pile, missed a mystic remora, so they fixed it, and then they're like, oh wait, and this verdant too. And that caused the question of, well, when did the brick begin and when did it end, and why are you being so wishy-washy about it? So we had to figure out where the line was that this player's hand stopped and the demonic consultation began, and it almost turned into having to reconstruct an ad nauseum of 25 life.
Of 45
didn't.
life? Okay.
Of 25 life, but it didn't, thankfully.
I
So that's actually.
So wait,
I
they
mean, we
moved
spoke about this
everything?
last time. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, they moved everything to exile?
They took their hand and they took their exile pile from Demonic Constellation and placed it on their hand, and then they're like, oh, that's someone I think said that's your hand, and they go, oh, because at this point their deck, their hand, and their exile pile were all giant piles of cards, so they tried to fix it, and then the question was, well, here's an Esper Sentinel on top of their hand. Was that supposed to go in exile or not? Here's this Verdant Catacomb that they say is exile. Is it supposed to be or not? And what else is in this hand pile that's supposed to have been in exile?
Yeah, I don't know if I would have put that much effort into resolving that. They put everything in exile, including their hand. We're not
Ooh.
Sucks
obligated.
to suck, nerd.
Yeah, we're not obligated to fix zone changes. In fact, it's discouraged. So like the rewind is one thing, and like it's a cool courtesy.
Oh, we didn't actually do the rewind. We didn't do the rewind, but it was in talks of how do we fix this.
Yeah, that might just be a feel bads moment of like you should have been more careful. You put everything in exile and then pass turn or whatever. It's like okay, sorry. I don't know. That's
Like my first time at Punt City, there I had to call Max over after a stressful game 2, I believe it was. Going into game 3, I tutored for something, put it on top of my deck, and went, cool. Picked up my hand, drew my card, went, that's not the card I tutored for. Max! Called him over because I knew exactly what was wrong, and I mean I knew what the fix would be. It still sucked because I basically got thought seized, but I mean the thing of it is, we mentioned it last week. Do not try and resolve it yourself, because
Yeah,
that could have
that's the
been
worst.
just as easy. It would have been a much easier fix if that guy just went, "Ah, crap, I done messed up. Let me call over a judge." Or if someone at the table was like, "Don't touch it," because then Charles or Addie could have came over and been like, "All right, well, we could start separating here and got it closer and probably better, and then there was no malicious intent intended."
Yeah, so what ended up happening was the players were keeping track of the important cards, Esper Sentinel not being one of these at this point in the game. And the card under the Esper Sentinel in their hand, which all players agreed did not change order since this call started. One of the important cards that they remembered was a Deflecting Swap, and that was the next card under. So we didn't have to dive through the entire pile because that was already a known card revealed off the Adnaz, guaranteed to be in the hand.
Right.
So I thought that call was fun.
That is actually a really neat call. So all right, here was my question beforehand. So, given everything we just said and all the depresso espresso we were drinking, how do you guys prepare yourself mentally and or both emotionally for judging an event? Obviously, Charles gets his best hat. He steams it. He presses it. You got to make Bidoof look great.
So I actually wasn't wearing my Bidoof hat this weekend because, as appeals judge, it is unprofessional, for good reason, to receive a game loss or be disqualified by a Bidoof or a Bulbasaur.
See, you only have to take the hat off when you deliver those kinds of rulings.
The problem is I don't just wear this hat. I am a Bidoof, and I will forget because I'm a Bidoof. I will forget whatever move you taught me and learn the HM.
Bidoofus.
So knowing that, I would just miss it. I elected not to wear it.
If you ever have to DQ me or render out a ruling directly at me, I will not take you seriously until the hat is on. The hat stays on.
Oh god.
I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm just gonna go back to mute because I have the sniffles. Like,
just come in with that, leave it there, and like, all right. Well, Charles is a Bidoofian, and the Bidoof hat stays on. Do you feel the same way, Addie? Does the Bidoof hat stay on?
it comes and goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're welcome, Max.
You know what? I can't top that tonight. That's it. That's the clip. Is the
But you know
Bidoof
what
hat
does
stays
top
on.
that? The Bidoof hat.
Yeah, the Bidoof hat goes on top.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about the Bulba hat? The Bulba hat's there too.
I have the Bulba hat.
Wait.
Well, he's getting the Bulba hat. How
Costume
do you
change.
prepare, Addie?
I kind of just panic. If I'm being honest, like Max asked for like a thumbnail, like a picture, and I was like, I just look panicked. And it's not intended. It just happens. As Max says, I am the travel captain, so I get travel anxiety and kind of. I even like before doing the stream, even doing the stream right now, I still have like nerves because I've never done this before. But
Yeah, and every
it's-
event is new, so it's always new anxiety.
yeah. So
The thing
it's kind of just what?
Sorry, I was just wanted to add the thing about Addie is like she'll like be beforehand a bundle of energy, and then when it comes like when the rocks start rolling, Addie's just on a mission and will just go. Once she starts executing, that's where you get past that, and it's always a good thing to see because as somebody who travels with Addie, the tension is rising. The event is coming closer. What are we gonna do? We're gonna kill it. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna kill it.
Yeah. As somebody who's mentored both of you, my DMs are littered with anxietic comments from Addie. So.
Oh yeah. For viewers that don't know, Charles and I have been dating for a very long time. That's why he knows me very well. But
Oh,
it's
so the hat
definitely-
stays on then.
It's like once I get to the event and it starts and I know exactly what I'm doing and I know the team I'm working with because a lot of the times I am working with a new team. So even this one, like I didn't know the people I was going to be working with. So I'm like, how is this going to be? How is like, but the team was amazing to work with. I have worked with Baldy before. I've obviously worked with Charles, but the other 3 judges I worked with were brand new, or not brand new in judging, but brand new to work with. So you never know exactly who you're going to be working with, how they are, how you work together, but you know that it's all going to be okay. It's just a little bit of anxiety before, but when you, like with deck checks and having the person I worked with, it was just, we're going to do this, and then everything just rolls.
Yeah, for sure. It's always cool to work with a new team. That's part of the reason I've loved going around the country for larger events. Is like, I always have an international team, or I'm always with new people who I've never met before. Sometimes familiar faces, which it's always great to see friends. But a lot of the time, there's so many of us scattered around the world that are doing these things that when you go to like a Magic Fest, your team lead's almost never the same twice. Which is one of my favorite things about going all these places and get to see. We're talking about Magic from different perspectives. Like in Italy, they don't really play EDH at all. It's like not a thing.
Huh.
Oh, that was weird. Everything just changed.
Mm-hmm.
That threw me off.
I'm sorry, I corrected Addie's name and it changed it to for her first.
Oh, it made it alphabetical.
Yeah.
You know what, Billy? Stop touching things. Stop touching things.
No. That was actually kind of neat. I didn't know it did that.
Learn something new.
Right? Yeah, the hat stays on. It switches to alphabetical.
I now made it just Billy for quite a few seconds.
So, for festival, I have to know, like, are the hats required? Like, do I have to bring my spinny cap out?
I
Gesture
forgot
caps
you had
only.
that.
Gesture caps only. Festival of Nights.
Oh, I don't have one of those, but I could probably get one.
Oh god.
Why are you here thinking?
Because
Well,
he has
glam.
a gesture cap. Somewhere, sometime, somebody
Amazon.
took Charles snowboarding and got him a really funky hat, and it's hiding in a closet somewhere.
Snowboarding, huh?
Jester Cap.
I'm not that exciting.
Tubing. I'm sorry. Snow tubing. Here we go.
Oh, okay.
Leisurely riding down a mountain in a snow tube.
I bet my brother has one that I could borrow.
There are $17 on Amazon right now. Oh, there's one with sequins for $17 too.
Ooh.
Oh, I like the sequin one. Oh, never mind. I found one for $8.50. Perfect.
I just told Show in chat that I'm expecting full LARP from him for
Yes.
for this
All
event.
right. So for what it's worth, Show and I went to attend a wedding, and Show wore some of his LARP attire to the wedding, and it was very nice.
I have no doubt that it's nice, but I can just imagine Show sitting there playing his Rakdos deck with elf ears and a tunic on.
I wear my Cult of the Lamb hat that Charles made.
We're turning this into.
I mean, my spinny cap is multiple colors.
EDH is caps EDH, right?
Right. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jester's cap.
Yeah. I mean, Jester Cap is a magic card too, so you just
It
like
is, yeah.
you can make a crown of Jester Caps.
We could, yes.
And Seth will be the monarch.
There you go.
Oh my god, the last thing we need to do is inflate that man's ego by giving him a crown.
It's Hot Judge Seth, all right.
Yeah, Hot Judge Seth, and he's not here to defend himself, so I can't. That's as far
Defend
as
what?
as I can cut. Then again, I can imagine him just not popping in here and being like, I'll defend myself, my fabulousness, thank you. Alright, this weekend, were there any decks that you guys saw that surprised you that they were there, or anything that you didn't expect to see from players this weekend?
You know what surprised me the most? The decks that surprised me the most were the ones that were forgotten. There were more decks just left about while the event was going on for Lost and Found to take than I've ever seen at one of these events.
I think there were at least 3.
At least there was also the player who lost and then walked away from the match. And then never came back, so their opponent called me over and asked what they were supposed to do and what they were obligated to do because their opponent just left all their stuff there. So every one of those decks was surprising. And I believe I saw a couple, maybe even a few, of Paco Halden, which I've heard of in CEDH, but I've never really seen in more than one player, realistically. I believe I saw 3 this weekend, which was interesting.
Yeah, I know there was a playtest group that was talking that Paco Halden would be the best deck to bring to this event just because of the anticipated mid-ranginess of it. And the fact that it's just like you steal your opponent's breaches and nauses and all these fun things, and just you have the time to slam the dog and the dog's owner and just go burr as much as you can. Creatures are still good, but I don't think the deck is as good as like Temur Pirates. I think it's just something different for people to play.
2 things that came out of the woodwork that I saw. There was an Orvar player who was awesome. This player was very studious. He had a very methodical way of demonstrating the stack and had all of his trigger tokens and copy tokens, and it was really fun to watch. And then there was also a Go Shintai player, which I'm not sure how
top 32.
Did they top 32? I thought they
made, to be exact, they made 19th, because I was going to say that and I was looking for it and I found it again.
So I watched this player, I believe it was round 7. It may have been round 6, but they were going to time, and Mike Sad was there playing Winota, had just murdered 2 players, and then passes turn, Go Shintai Cycryphs, passes turn. They have a Ristic in play, time is called on Mike Sad's turn, and Mike Sad starts doing lots of math. He casts Dockside for 10, and starts doing math, finds a line. He's like, all right, cast something that I don't remember, then cast silence. The silence gets mental misstepped, and then from there on out, Mike no longer pays for Ristic Study. So he casts 2 or 3 things, and then off of the third Ristic Study trigger, before the trigger resolves, the Goshen type player says, "Okay, Mystical Tutor," and I'm sitting there watching this go on, thinking, "What's his out? What's going on?" And Mike's like thinking the same thing. He goes, "All right, put Angel's Grace on top," and they're like, "Okay, it's a draw." He guaranteed that we're going to draw a card. Poor Mike was just like, "Can I at least show you my line?" Like, he worked really hard on that line to win the game that turn.
There
But
you go.
yes, so I knew he
Angel's
was
Grace.
in contention or close to it. But I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah. Addie, did you see any fun lines or fun decks or some blood pod representation maybe for your?
Not really blood pod. There was a Croc player in my event. That's typical.
Did they go to
there-
time?
No.
Okay. All right. Let's,
But next
Not that
question:
time.
did they win?
I'm not
Also
actually sure
no.
who won that event or like that game because I was doing end of round announcements and stuff, so I didn't see who exactly handed in that matchlet. I did have a fun call of I'm gonna cast Snap. I want to deflecting swat your Snap. Who untaps the lands? And that was an interesting call that I got questioned on, like, and but I don't remember what commander they were playing.
Honestly, anything.
Yeah.
Anything that's
almost
not the
every
hot
Dagger
at
deck
point.
plays Snap outside of Mardu Summer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I kind of for the most part, the day one I did 4 rounds of deck checks, and then the 5th round was my break. So I didn't see a lot of games because
you were stuck doing all the
I
sorting
had
and
to
all that.
Fair.
Sure.
Helping people resleeve decks, helping people with proxies and half-hour extensions and stuff like that in the judge room. So
New
only
question.
one, however. But
if you were forced to play a Mardu Summer deck, what Mardu Summer deck would you play?
what that
Pick any Mardu deck in the format, silly.
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to pick? Oh,
Yeah,
Me.
what we could all pick. Yeah.
Mad Farm, the old school Mad Farm. Tim and Jessica.
Ooh, okay.
I was
So-
just there, so I looked through. So like while I was muted, and you probably saw my eyes going wildly, I was looking at the other decks because I know when I look through after Cookout finished, because I usually personally go through and I look through the decks and do it for a while, and I'm like, I wish I notated who was who on there, because I noticed there was a bunch of Magda.
Yeah.
Another one that stuck out to me was there was a Heartless Hitagetsu deck. Love that.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Somebody
that was-
did ask me about Heartless Hitaseku at the tournament. They're like,
Yeah.
so if I, deal 10 damage to everybody and we're all at 10 life, do I win? And it's like, no. No, you don't. I was
I
like,
guess
"Oh, okay.
people should know how their cards work before they play them. That
Yeah.
would be useful.
Why would you do that? But no, so if I had to pick a Mardu deck to play, it would either be Dihada or Mad Farm. I actually played a lot of Mad Farm for a long time before I switched to Najila and other decks and many other decks. Oh god. But like, it was fun. It was fast. And what I really liked about Mardu decks is the fact that you're just going, okay, I'm going to win. Oh, you stopped me. Okay, I'm going to do it this way. What about this way? And this way? And this way? You're just going to keep layering on top of yourself to try and win.
Guns, no interaction.
Yeah,
Don't care
exactly.
what you do. I'm going to do my thing.
Mardu, does it have to be an established deck or would it be something I would want to try to brew?
Ooh,
Extus.
I'm
Extus.
really interested in what you try to brew, actually.
I mean, I would be interested in seeing what could be done. I mean, Right now, when looking at CEDH decks, I want to build a Tymna deck because Tymna is really, really powerful and awesome.
Mhm.
But I would be interested.
I'm going to pause you there. If you say the next word that's a little our little idiot, I'm going to boot you from the channel.
If I was going to build a Tymna deck and make it Mardu, it would be with Jessica or with
Okay.
the Kiri. The other option I think would be really cool, and I've talked to Shohei about this briefly, would be revisiting after all these years Alesha who smiles at death.
Mm.
Because last time I looked at Alesha, the format was entirely different.
That's fair.
Why
Would it be
doesn't
good?
Extus get any love? Nobody loves Extus.
Because Extus doesn't even. Do you even cast Extus playing Extus, or do you just cast the backside?
You cast the backside. Duh.
So not even Extus players like Extus.
Exactly. Well, you got Worthy Cause, because it's a worthy cause to play Extus.
I've seen Extus once, and that
Yeah.
was by a local player at Rip and Ship in Mid-Range Mountain, and I think that's the only place where Extus could possibly do well. But I could see Akiri Tymna being very valid.
I just want to play Akiri because I like artifacts. That's all I want.
That's fair.
With Tymna or Silas, they're both human, so you could be playing the colorless birthing pod, the typal birthing pod.
Oh, Font of Heroes or Pyre
Yeah,
Heroes?
and go get Oriok Salvagers and have some sort of like LED Bomberman thing, and you probably play Mayhem Devil in such a deck.
All right. Well, now we know what Charles is going to be playing this weekend at Rip and Ship. Joyra. The answer is Joyra. It's always Joyra.
The answer is always Joyra.
Yeah. Addie, will you be playing this weekend?
So
if I
referring-
do,
Yeah, Addie, you want me to
sure.
Addie and I will most likely be meeting up to look at houses. So
Before the tournament? Right, got it.
when does the tournament start?
11.
Who?
Fair enough.
I don't know if any realtors wake up before 11.
No,
That's
they
true.
don't. They really don't. I'm also in the same camp right now. I'm looking for houses as well, and no.
You're all going to go be depressed by the housing market? Fantastic.
Yes. Yes. Every day. Every day.
My tea is very hot.
Thanks for asking, Max. No, I will not be at Rip and Ship this weekend.
Well, I knew you weren't going to be at Rip and Ship. Yeah, you told me the other day, which is
Yeah, I'm going to go see Fallout Boy.
You can come to Rip and Ship and then go to see Fallout Boy. It's fine. Do both.
I actually just recently learned, by recently learned, I mean like 3 days ago,
Mhm.
that the concert is in New Jersey. Allegedly, I was told this already.
Is this at the Meadowlands?
No, it's over in Homedale.
Okay,
So-
home dog Camden.
PNC.
Yeah, at the PNC
PNC's a
Park.
good venue.
Yeah. Yeah, I was told this already, but I have a little goldfish brain, and I had no idea. So when my girlfriend told me, she's like, "Yeah, so it's in Jersey," and I went, "What?" my immediate follow-up question was, was I in charge of the hotel?
Ooh.
She goes,
Was the
"No."
answer yeah?
She goes, "No, you told me that we're just gonna drive home," and I said, "Great, go me."
Oh boy. Okay.
So in a way, you were in charge of the hotel, but you made an executive decision immediately to no longer be in charge of the hotel.
Apparently, I mean, I
Yeah.
can't justify what past me did there. So, but past me must have been thinking about future me.
Not wanting to spend money on a hotel for the night? Yeah.
Bingo.
Okay. So was there anything else about this event that you guys wanted to shout out or want to see more of or do more of or anything? Anything at all?
I want more of those trophies like the apron.
Those will
Yeah, that was a
definitely
hit.
be coming. We're talking about tons of more stuff, lots of fun doodads and gadgets and gizmos and random things for who cares? Because who cares about the cash, right? Everybody always splits. It's not about that. It's about the bragging rights, and like what better bragging right than like wearing that apron to the next event.
All right,
God
so
knows I
wait,
would do that.
is there talk? Do we already know what the prize for the festival is going to be?
So funny thing, festival is like it's an Eminence event, but it's not an Eminence event because it's technically at Sword in the Stone, but we're running it.
So,
maybe.
are you saying that you're not going to have a giant sword in the stone that people could try and take pictures on or pull out?
No, definitely not. That's not.
Are
gonna
you
happen.
saying that the prize is not going to be a sword?
Max. Okay, so
So here's out.
altar. Here's a rock token, and you draw a sword on it.
Oh, I like that.
Or
For anyone
we
playing Tago out there.
Or we get a mana crypt and put a sword through the mana crypt.
Ooh, that's a much more expensive altar. That's a much more expensive base card.
It is a much more expensive base card.
Soul ring, and put
Fellwar Stone because it's
there you go, Fellwar Stone.
There we go.
Yes,
Foil Fellwar Stone.
Right.
All right. Where's Mike's ad? We'll get him to draw a sword on a Fellwar Stone. He can do it. No, but going out to get a plastic sword and putting an Eminence logo on it does seem like something that we can do. Maybe.
Maybe.
Let's get a little night costume.
Yeah, I think like a crown and a sword might be interesting for that. I'll confer with the other leads of Eminence, but yeah, I guess we've talked a bunch about it. Sword in the Stone is going to be our next event where you will definitely be able to see all four of us. Charles is quick changing, new magic act, quick change.
This looks really weird with the headset.
Yeah, that does actually fit with the headset. I'm impressed with that one. Shohei is now excited for a sword. Now it's more determination for him to win. Shohei, will that mean that you're going to play a deck other than Mardu? I can't imagine it. Or a deck other than Rakdos, I should say. Because I've never seen him play anything other than Black-Red.
I've seen him play Blue Farm.
In an actual event or for fun?
No. For testing purposes.
Okay, so you needed to test against Blue Farm, and he was the one who took the sacrifice and played the Blue Farm deck. Ooh, new brew. He will be on a new brew. Yeah, that's confirmed.
Oh, I was wondering if he was gonna spill the beans or not. I know about this new brew, but I won't share. It's a secret.
All right, you can share your secrets with me later after stream.
Secrets don't make friends.
You'll get the secret too. It's fine, maybe.
There's still 23 tickets remaining.
Yeah.
I'll just deck check.
Yeah, right.
Just check the top 16. Check the top 16 after the event.
Mm-hmm. It'll be posted on EDH Top 16 after the event. You can see all of the wonderful decks that come out for that 160 player event. I can't believe that there's a game store that's going to hold 160 players. If you're local to Wilkes Bar, it's an impressive new space in the Mar. I know, it's Wilkes-Barre. Yeah. It's spelled Wilkes Bar. Leave me alone. I can't remember which one it is.
You sound like a GPS. Wilkes Bar.
Welcome to Wilkes Bar. This is the train to Ronkonkoma.
Good luck. Estimated time 7 hours.
Yeah. The next stop is Ronkonkoma.
Max just broke himself.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm ready to go take a nap. I think we all could use some
I have a question
coffee.
for Sword and Stone, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Are they here?
Well, for Eminence, that's Sword and Stone. So other Eminence have artists, and we were talking about what would we like to see more of, and what we enjoyed. I thought, and anyone who watched Top 16, I hope thought it was phenomenal that Gold Sabertooth was sitting in Top 16, tapped out, checked out, drawn tokens. Oh, you elked that?
Yep.
Here's an elk. Give me a moment. Here's an elk. Oh, you pongified? Here's an ape. Let me draw you an ape. Absolute amazing.
Yeah, that was so good to watch him just in Top 16 drawing tokens for everybody.
So next
Yeah, that
time
was
you're sitting
incredible.
there, stacked out, done, tapped out of resources, learn how to draw. It's amazing.
Yeah, just bring
So
a stack of blank cards.
I think what we need now is okay. So at the top table, you usually have the 4 players, and you have the judge. I think on the other side needs to be an artist.
Yep, we're gonna contract an artist just to sit at the top 16 table. The
Be like,
tables
hey,
and just
you
draw
get a drawing,
tokens
we'll
for
buy you
people.
lunch. Here you go. Just some rando off the street.
We'll randomize what artist goes to what top 16
Yep.
table, and
Yep.
one at each table. Yeah. We'll get RK Post to draw some tokens, and
Yep.
Gold Sabretooth, and Elena Danner. Like, yeah.
Mhm.
That sounds great. Yep. We'll get John
Top
Avon
4,
to
Mark
fly
Poole,
across
easy.
the
Yeah,
pond and come.
Resurrect Chris Rush, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Poor Max.
As our events get bigger and we announce bigger and better things, which might or might not be coming, we will definitely be looking to involve more artists, more content creators, more everything. Because obviously, our 160 player events have reached their critical mass, and there's nowhere else for us to go. So we have to go bigger, shed our skin, and grow. But all right.
I need a bigger hat. I need to shed that.
You need to evolve. It's time. Take your leaf stone.
Everstone forever.
Wait, Bulbasaur didn't evolve with a leaf stone?
It would force him to evolve in the show. It would still force him to evolve. The way they explain it is it would still force them to evolve. Go back to season 1.
Looks like Billy's doing some Googling.
No.
One of these has to be a sunstone. Alright, well, you just got a bunch of rockstone issues, Charles.
I love rocks.
You love rock? You do. You do love rocks, I know.
Yeah, so hopefully they don't have a sword in them.
Yep, not yet, anyway. With that, I think we've covered everything for tonight, so we'll go around. Where can we find you, Charles?
Folks can find me at game stores in New Jersey and New York. On Twitter, I'm C4_IV because I'm the 4th. So if you don't see me on the internet, you can see me hopefully at more and more Eminence events wearing funny hats.
Addie?
I am on Discord and Twitter as Boat Beach. That's the things I primarily use. Without giving out my personal Facebook. So yeah, Discord or Twitter. It's just Boat Beach.
Send both of them random judge calls at any hour of the night. They'll respond. Maybe.
Send a voice message just yelling judge. Have them have panic attacks.
Yeah. I think that should be an alarm. We should make it an alarm for judge calls.
That should be I'm gonna record one of these one day and have it set to my text tone.
Yeah.
No.
Yes. We're gonna do it and then set it for a rip and ship event and see what happens.
Oh no.
Speaking of judge, I can't believe I forgot this. I don't know if anyone's mentioned the epic room silencing judge call from Josh from Elder Drunken Highlander.
What?
I think I heard that in the judge room, and
Yeah.
Cosmo and I looked at each other like, "What was that?"
Yes, I am sorry. I know you're trying to close this up, but this was amazing. So I was working and setting up, getting the stream game ready to go. Someone had gone on break, and 2 people were involved with the deck check, and I think there was an issue. So Baldy was also there. So I thought there was an extra person in the room, and I'd placed faith in the team when I heard Judge behind me to go take care of it. Because I was in the middle of taking care. I was already occupied. So I did not realize that Josh had not been seen nor heard. So he raised his voice and amped it up a little bit. A few moments later, I believe he was standing for this at some point. He just belched out Judge. Just Judge. Oh, like I don't think Discord picked it up, but he just
No.
whoosh Judge throughout the entire room and overrode every Magic player that was trying to announce a trigger in Georgia. Just everything came silent. And I looked at the stream table, and I looked up, and I looked at him. I was just like, "We're cut." Like, I see you. And I turned around to finish my spiel, and I was just like, I feel like somebody unplugged me, and plugged me back in, and just completely restarted. Like, the judge isn't working. Doot, 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 boop. Turn it back on.
I heard that in the judge room, like down the hall, or not down the hall, but it was like closed doors. Like,
Yeah. So it was taken care of.
The judge called heard around the world.
Yeah, that was impressive. That was impressive and should not be forgotten. But as you're saying, I think that covers everything for now.
Yeah. Okay.
I have one more thing. Hold on. I need you all to appreciate this terrifying mannequin here.
Let's watch stream. Do I dare?
What the hell?
This is what I found when I was looking at Jester Caps.
Oh no, we should have ended this a while ago. What? No.
I'm all right. I'm gonna. Boy.
Fixed it.
I like how that's now on the stream forever too. Okay.
Good.
All right, Billy. Where can they find you?
Amazon.
Amazon, apparently. If I'm not busy harassing Max or anybody, you can find me on Commander and Coffee, CMDR_coffee on Twitter. You could usually, you're going to be able to find me at festival. I'm going to be there. I typically try and go to as many tournaments as I possibly can. You could sometimes find me at Mid-Range Mountain and Rip and Ship. They're like my second LGS. That's where I met these lovely people. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. Just vibing today.
Awesome. I'm Max. You can find me at Trickbound MTG on Twitter. I'm Trickbound on Discord, and you can find me usually either in the Eminence server, the Moxmasters server, most other Magic servers, because somehow I got added to them and never deleted myself from them, so I have 15,000 Discord servers. Or sometimes Rip and Ship, and that's about it. Yeah. Those are the only places I am.
Yeah, if we're going on servers, yeah, I'm on almost all those as well. And my server too.
Yeah, we do have a Commander and Coffee server that we do promote people coming over and looking for games, playing some games, talking about Magic, brewing coffee, specifically coffee, although I'm a dirty tea drinker today.
Anything brewing is fine.
Yep. All right. Thank you, everyone. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and we will see you next Wednesday.
bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.